Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Master Ball Rankings. So for today's video, I wanted to take a funny route, and I wanted to talk about unhinged NPCs in Pokemon. And let me tell you, there's some wild ones, some I didn't even know about, but there's some Pokemon NPCs out here that be wild, and let me just tell you that. But some of these are really funny, and some of them I didn't know about, some of them I knew, and some of them are classics. But I'm gonna take you down a little funny rabbit hole of just wild NPCs. Everything from funny to weird, just all around the map. Like I said, I played almost every generation except for 5, and I've heard all kinds of funny things in Pokemon. But you guys are about to be blown away with some of these. But alright, let's get into it. Alright, for this first one, I'm taking you guys back to Red and Blue, and it's Youngster on Route 3, and I quote, "Hi, I like short. They're easy and comfy to wear." Yeah, this guy's a weirdo. I don't know why. There's another guy in the same neighborhood who, like right below him, who says, "Hey, you're not wearing shorts," or something to that nature. And these guys are always so weird to me. And like, I want to go up to him with like 4 pairs of pants on and just see what's popping, you know. But yeah, this is like a shorts cult. Always thought this one was funny. All right, let's hit the next one. Alright, y'all. Hey, this one's absolutely wild. I never played Gen 5, and now I'm glad I didn't, because this one is wild. Okay. Alright, here we go. Bear with me here. Alright, so Hiker from Gen 5 next to the Ferris wheel, and I quote, says, "Ho ho, sure is humid like a sauna, boy. I'll tell you what. By the way, boy, you ever had a lover?" Okay, hold on, I gotta keep going. "Oh, it's so hot. You really sweating, boy. Man, that thing was way more hot and humid than I was expecting. But I think I got to know you a little bit better, boy." Yeah, let that sink in. That's in Gen 5. No wonder I never played this. I never played this game. You kidding me? Oh my god. This guy's walking around in Gen 5? No way, man. This one blew me away. I don't know all this boy talk. Friggin' dude was on Epstein's Island or something. But yeah, this was a wild one. But alright, next one. Alright, this next one, we're going into the Alola region, Gen 7, and one of the grunts, I quote, says, "What? What? Why you trying to act hard when we're already hard as bone out here, homie?" Yeah, he says that with his homeboy. He talking about sus. Yeah, I bet y'all are hard as bone. But yeah, that's super sus. I don't know what, that kind of caught me off guard, that one. When I first seen that, I'm like, what? But alright, let's hit the next one. Alright, now back to Red and Blue. We got the old man sitting out front of Celadon City, and I quote says, "Ha ha ha, this gym is great. It's full of women." So when I was a kid, I was an idiot. I'm like, okay, you know, it's empowering. You know, it's all women. You know, my grandma, my aunt, my mom were big in my life, and my sister. So I was an idiot when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, you know, he's a good guy. It's empowering. I did not realize this scumbag was, you know, out here like that. But I was an idiot as a kid. I had no idea. But yeah, this gym is great, full of women. But all right, next one. Okay, the next crazy NPC, I know her from Gen 3, but I guess she was in 5 too. But she's a swimmer, and I quote says, "If I'm wearing a bikini, where do I put my Pokeballs? Tee-hee, a woman's secret." This is another one. When I was a kid, I'm like, where is she keeping them though? You know, she got a little bag, a little swim bag or something. Yeah, Pokemon be wildin'. She's wildin' too. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Keep that to yourself, girl. But alright, next one. Now this next one is from Legend ZA, and there's an NPC in the city, and I quote says, "I'm sick and tired of life. I just want to smell Pokemon." At first I'm like, alright, he's sick and tired of life, but then he said, "I want to smell Pokemon." I'm like, what? Yeah, this guy's weird. Lock him up. I heard enough. You know, I know some Pokemon are food, they could smell good, but you don't need to be smelling my Slurpuff and, you know, my little food Pokemon. This guy's weird. Alright, next one. Matter of fact, we're actually gonna keep it in ZA, and this is one of the poison goons, the dude with the glasses. Yeah, that guy. And I quote says, "The eyes, aim for the eyes. That was my brother's last words. What is somebody drive by with artillery and dump that bad boy? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. Somebody, blasted a remoraid, on the block or something. I don't know. Dude got smoked. I don't know what happened. Crazy. Man, that hit me deep. I'm like, what? But yeah, all right, next one. All right, now we're going to Kalos Gen 6, and I'm taking you to the Battle Maison. And we're talking about the old French, is like an old fancy French guy. And I quote, he says, "How's that? Owned, sucker." Yeah, so if you imagine going on a streak at the Battle Maison, you know what I'm talking about, and then you go on a win streak, and then all of a sudden you get beat by this old, French dude, and he says, "How was that? You got owned, sucker." Yeah, this one had me dying. Dude looks fresh and crisp too. It's funny. But all right, next one. All right, so back to Red and Blue. I don't know why. Red and Blue got all kinds of wild stuff. It was the 90s. But Brock's gym, the trainer right before Brock, after you beat him, he says, "You're pretty hot, but not as hot as Brock." So what's that mean? Y'all are sus. So what's that mean? Because it's only him and Brock in the gym. And, I hate to say it, Brock ain't got no shirt on. Kind of weird, Yeah, I could take it further. He's got an Onyx, everything's, rock hard. I don't know. I'm starting to think everything was a lie as a kid. This is a sus gym here, boy. But yeah, get that badge and get out of there. But all right, next one. All right, so back to the Kalos region, and I'm taking you guys to the Frost Cavern, and there's a hiker in there who says, "Oh no, I can't feel my toes." And then you beat him, and after you beat him, he says, "I can't stop shouting. I think I'll freeze if I do." So this guy is in distress. I was actually worried about this guy. When I first played this game, I went and got an ice seal and tried to bring it in there because I'm like, man, this dude, he's about to freeze to death. But maybe he'll drop his Pokemon. Maybe I'll get him. But usually he only got crappy Geodudes or something. But another thing too, I kind of felt this guy because I ate ice cream one time and I was so cold. I almost, I was almost down for the count, boys. I had to warm up and, but it scared me. But yeah, get this guy some help. What the hell? All right, one more. All right, so this last one, we're going back to Alola, and we're just going right to Route 1, and there's a kid NPC who says, "I gotta catch more Pokemon. Pokemon with cool knees are so neat." So yeah, this kid likes Pokemon with cool knees. I never heard of such a thing in my life. Like, what? That's what you base cool knees, huh? I don't even know what a cool knee looks like. I was trying to think about Pokemon with cool knees. What about Haunter? Nah, I got y'all. I'm just playing. But what about Armaldo? I like Armaldo. That's a sleeper Pokemon. His knee's kind of cool. But I don't know. This is a really odd quote. I don't know. This one's out there. But all right. Alright y'all, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a quick one this time because I'm working on a couple different videos. It's been hard for me to get stuff out on this channel, but I'm working on a bunch of stuff. But I really like doing this one, and it kind of, a lot of them shocked me. I'll never go to Unova, I'll tell you that. But I might do a part 2 of this one and do a longer version because there's so many quotes. I might even do a long part 2. But just let me know what you guys want to see in my next video. I'm open to hear anything. But you guys have a nice day and take care. I'll see y'all. Peace.